I'm Michael Lazaroff. I am the executive director of Jazz Cruises. And for those that were on earlier, I'm still Michael Lazaroff from Jazz Cruises. And we're going to talk about the Smooth Jazz Cruise 26.3. First, we're going to tell you why we're doing this. Couple reasons. The 25.1 and a 25.2 have been sold out for months and months and months, and we have literally 4,000 people sitting on the wait list. So there's obviously interest in a third sailing of the Smooth Jazz Cruise. And unfortunately, getting a cruise ship isn't like calling Amazon and saying, send something to me, and it comes the next day. You have to plan in advance. So it took us a bit to come up with a third sailing. And what happened, which is kind of an interesting story, is we learned that our ship, Celebrity Summit, does a repositioning cruise from Alaska to the Caribbean in the fall, and then it is in the Caribbean in January and February, mainly for our cruises. For those who are on Journey of Jazz, that's the first time that we learned about it. And the itineraries for a repositioning cruise are different than our regular cruise, because you start in one city and you actually disembark in another city, whereas ours go from Fort Lauderdale to Fort Lauderdale with a bunch of ports of call, or Miami to Miami. So when we saw a group of ports of call that were Vancouver, Victoria, overnight in San Francisco, and then down to Los Angeles, we just felt that was an amazing itinerary for a jazz cruise because of the part of the country we're in, the time of the year. And so Journey of Jazz, which is sailing almost the same time in 2025, has these exact ports of call. And for those who aren't familiar, that cruise is Marcus Miller, Gregory Porter, Dee Dee Bridgewater, Chucho Valdez, Cecile McLaurin Salvant, the Clayton Hamilton Jazz Orchestra. And we will soon be announcing, believe it or not, Diana Krall will be sailing on that cruise as well. She actually lives very, 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 very close to Victoria. So for her, she could probably do the show in her pajamas from her backyard. But if you know her well, that will not happen. She has a makeup artist and a hair artist. She's got just about everything under the sun. But we love this itinerary. And one of the reasons that we love the itinerary is because for the first time in a long time, we are able to create on land experiences for the guests that are unusual. As an example, and let's just take Journey of Jazz because those have been announced, and in fact, sign up for those begins in about a week or so. We're going to have shows at SF Jazz, which is an amazing, amazing jazz venue. We're going to have trips to Napa, trips to Sonoma. We have chartered the Napa Valley wine train. Michael Bauer, who worked with me years ago when we did our signature jazz cruises in Europe, he was the 30-year food editor for the San Francisco Chronicle. He has put together a culinary tour of San Francisco, and that'll be available. And we have a whole bunch of other really, really fun things. So unlike our usual cruises where when we get to a port of call, you're kind of on your own, we're gonna have some things for you to do. and they're going to be curated and they're going to be produced by us at cost. We're not adding any costs or any a premium to these things. We just want to provide them as a wonderful experience. So once we saw this, we then realized that we can do that again, and why not with other smooth jazz crews? So that is the background for why we are doing it, how we are doing it, and that's why it is in September. It is on Celebrity Summit. For those who have been on any recent sailing of the Smooth Jazz Cruise, that's our ship. It will have just been finished another round of upgrades, which is kind of fun. And we're going to leave from Vancouver. We are then going to go to Victoria, where we will be staying very late. So we'll have a really terrific on and off guest there. And then we go to San Francisco and we're there overnight. So we actually have 2 full days of activities in San Francisco, 2 full days of wine tours, music. You can go to Sonoma one day, you can go to Napa the next day, you could go to an SF Jazz show and one day and then go to Napa. You can take a culinary tour of San Francisco. We haven't finalized those yet because really, quite candidly, we're going to wait and see somewhat how the various Journey of Jazz events go. And because this is a smooth jazz cruise, we're going to tailor them accordingly. But it's very exciting for us, and we wind up in LA. And for those who haven't been to Vancouver, that's a really, really cool place to be departing from. You ought to add a couple of days to see Vancouver. It is absolutely one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and Victoria doesn't even look like a real city. It is so beautiful. It almost looks enchanted, and we have all kinds of events planned there, and that will be really fun. The lineup, because this is the Smooth Jazz Cruise. This is our music cruise. Marcus and Boney, they're going to be hosting, and we have the regulars who we would never sail without: Brian Culbertson, Jonathan Butler, and Candy Dolfer. And for the West Coast cruise, we're adding Mindy Abair, who actually lives in Sonoma, and she will be hosting a number of wine tours there, along with her husband, who is a very accomplished sommelier. And Rick and Richard, they're going to be joining us. They will be performing together, and they will be performing separately. And Bernie Williams, for those who do not know, this is the famous New York Yankee baseball player who is a jazz guitarist. And we've been trying to get him forever, but he always had spring training obligations during the January, February time when our Smooth Jazz cruise sailed. But it's fall, and he is really excited to be on the cruise. Really nice guy, great talent, and if anyone thinks to themselves, how on earth could a professional athlete become a smooth jazz guitarist? And I've got 2 words for you for that: Wayman Tisdale. So we're going to have a lot of fun with him. We decided that because we are staying in port in San Francisco and in Victoria, that it's time to bring the bands back together. So we're not just one, we're going to have 2 bands. We're going to have War. They will do our shows in San Francisco, and we have Tower of Power, who will be doing the shows in Victoria. They're actually from Oakland, but we're going to make them go to Victoria just because. Alonzo will be there. Talaya will be there. Of course, of course, Eric Marienthal will be our music director. And one of the things that our cruises are always famous for, we have our terrific featured performers. There may be some changes in these over time, and our musicians, our backup band, our band members, these are the same guys that'll be on 26-1 and also 26-6-2. So that's our lineup. It is really exciting, and the experience will be wonderful. This is the greatest party at sea. This is the first time that we've gone from the West Coast in 12 or 13 years, and it's the first time that any of our Jazz Cruises programs have had a land-based component since the Jazz Cruise went to New Orleans. And I just hope that these experiences are half as much fun as we had down in New Orleans for the Jazz Cruise. It really is kind of cool to see all of our folks on land doing something together and then coming back on the ship for our usual nighttime and afternoon activities and also music. We've never been to Victoria. We've never been to San Francisco. We've never been to Vancouver. So that's kind of nice. And we haven't done this ever. So this is the pairing of our robust onboard jazz program. When we are on the ship, it's going to be like the Smooth Jazz Cruise has always been. All the activities. The only difference is when we're on land, you're going to have the opportunity to do some fun stuff that we have created and that we are curating. So that's what's neat about this particular cruise. Okay, the reservation procedure. Normally, on the Smooth Jazz Cruise, there is a period of time when folks who are already on the cruise have the exclusive right to rebook their stateroom for the next cruise. Well, there is no predecessor cruise to this cruise, so it's sort of like a jump ball. And so what we decided to do was this, which began today. We have a pre-sale reservation procedure. All you have to do is go online, and there's probably like 5 or 6 questions, maybe not even that many, to complete a pre-sale reservation. No cost, no obligation, nothing. The only thing that this does is indicate that you're interested, and it helps to put you up in the queue to have the opportunity to select a stateroom and then complete a reservation. I've already forgotten what's the date that we're going to start doing that. On October 23rd. On October 23rd, we're going to start activating the pre-sale reservations. For those who have gone through our token process before, you know what I'm talking about. Let me explain it quickly. You're going to get an email that's going to have your booking information. You'll be able to go online and or call the office on an exclusive basis, select your stateroom, and complete your reservation. It is first come, first serve. We do them in waves, and the wave that you are placed in is determined by 2 factors: of your cruise history and how quickly you complete your pre-sale reservation. The Smooth Jazz Cruise and all of our Jazz Cruise programs have been based upon a seniority forever. People that have sailed with us before, they have a leg up. They get to pick first. But in this case, we will also temper that by how quickly you enter your pre-sale reservation. We're doing a couple things a little bit different with this one, in that if you're on 26-1 and 20 or a 26-2, we urge you to fill out a pre-sale reservation. However, regardless of your cruise history, you will be slotted towards the end of a booking period for a pre-sale reservations. And the purpose of this is we want to make sure that everybody who wanted to sail in 26 on a Smooth Jazz cruise has that opportunity. Once those people have picked their cabin, completed their reservation, then if you're on 26-1, 26-2, and you want to add 26-3 to your itinerary for that year, we would love it. But we are asking you just to let everybody else have a chance to book a cabin, and then we can go forward. We're also, because this is 2 years out, no money, no deposit, no first payment, no anything will be due until March of 2025. That would be the normal 17 to 18 months prior to when we sail. Okay, so if you're booking now, it's a free look if you look at it that way. We don't anticipate that happening, but that would be great. For those who are on 26-1 and 26-2, you've got three options with respect to a 26-3. First, from now through October 15th, which is not a lot of time, you can call the office and you can transfer your reservation to SJC 26.3. That's our transfer portal. You just call us, you can fill out a form. It is easy, and we will just move your reservation as it sits right now to that ship. Okay? Doing that, though, includes the cancellation of your reservation on 26-1 and a 26-2. Let me explain why we do that. We thought, okay, there are going to be people that will say, gee, had I known you were going to do the West Coast cruise, I never would have booked 26-1 or 26.2. And that's fair. And so we are saying now, because you've already done it, because you were at the beginning of the queue, you can transfer. But you have to do that soon, and you can't have both unless you want to get in the back of the line of the pre-sale reservations, which is the second option. Get in line for the additional reservations, meaning fill out a pre-sale reservation, and then once everyone who does not have a 26-1 or a 26-2 reservation, once they're done, then you are free to book an additional cruise. And three, which is the option that I usually take for almost everything I do nothing. You just hold on to your reservation and watch everybody do what they want to do, and then maybe later on during the open booking process, book a cabin. Totally up to you. But you don't have to do anything to do that. You don't have to write us and say, I want to keep my 26-1 or my 26-2 reservation, and I could care less what you guys are doing on 26-3. Have fun in the West Coast. Hopefully you won't say that, but anyway. That's our presentation, I think. Hold on a second. Yeah. The reason why we're doing this is because this is a completely different process than we usually do. And it took us a minute to figure out how to be fair. And so fairness is, number one, people who are not sailing on 26-1 or 26-2, they get first dibs. I am showing my age. First dibs on a stateroom in a 26.3. If you are on 26-1 and 2 and you prefer 26.3, you can transfer, but you got to tell us quickly. And then 3, if you want to add 26.3 to your inventory of cruises, you just have to wait until the end of the pre-sale reservation period, which is sometime in November. Okay. Open booking will probably start before Thanksgiving. Okay. That's it. Questions? Very fair price. Thank you. Patricia thinks we have a very thorough and a fair process. Very, very good. Very good. I like being called fair. Doesn't happen often. Is this the complete lineup? In all probability, I mean, we may be adding some people, but this is the normal volume. I think we're going to add a couple of featured performers, maybe a vocalist or two, and we may be adding somebody when we're in Vancouver. So that's the answer. What happens to the insurance paid on 26-2? Does it get transferred?
It can, yes. You'll have to contact Travel Guard or your preferred insurance to get everything figured out, but yes.
Yeah, but yes. Okay. So if we're not booked for a 26-1, we can book first for 26-3. Yes, provided again a portion of the priority will be folks who have sailed with us before. So in other words, let's say there's somebody who has sailed with us 7 times, is not on 26-1, not on 26-2, and signs up for a pre-sale reservation early on. They will be really close to the front of the line. Somebody who is not on 26-1, 26-2, has never sailed with us before, they're going to be a little bit further down the line. But one thing for sure is that everybody who fills out a pre-sale reservation will be able to secure a very, very good cabin because of the way that we've layered it. Okay? If you transfer, do you pay and start and join? No. If you transfer, whatever payments you've made stay, but your next payment will not be until March. Okay? Moving forward, will there always be? We don't know. Who knows? We had the opportunity and we had the reason to do 3 this time. We may want to take that slot for something else. We've done years. Most of the years we do 2. There were some years we did 1. The last time that we scheduled 3, there was this thing called the pandemic, and we went from 3 to 0. So I'm a little bit nervous about saying that we're going to do 3 again. Bad luck. So the real answer is we don't know. I think it's a very fair assumption that 2 sailings of the Smooth Jazz cruise in a mid-February is a pretty good bet for the near future. How best to upgrade cabin from 27? Whichever available. I mean, without stating the obvious, this is like a real opportunity for folks who are not in a suite or a higher end cabin to get one, because there isn't a whole set of people who can automatically retain their suite. When we did 26-1 and 26-2, virtually every single suite was retained by the people that were in it before.
And that question is on the transfer portal form.
I see.
Specifically, if you have other requests, what they are specifically and how we can assist.
It is on the form, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Just, tell us what you want, okay? I read in the Weekender, you read that silly thing? I read in the Weekender that you will do Journey of Jazz again as well. Will it be in the fall again? Probably not. We're going to move that around. You're going to see shortly, we're going to be adding a different kind of cruise program. 26, well, I can just tell you, 26, there'll be a second fall cruise. We're going to go from, this one goes from Vancouver to Victoria to San Francisco to Los Angeles, and we talk Celebrity into then going from Los Angeles to San Francisco to Victoria to Vancouver, okay? Back up. And that's going to be Bodie at Sea 26. And the reason for that is because of the overnights, we can get certain kind of talent that really fits that image. I'm in the process of talking to Celebrity, because once they get back to Vancouver, they still have to get to the Caribbean. So I said, well, why can't we do another one back down? Okay. And after they stop laughing, now they're trying to figure out whether they can do it. So we may be just going up and down the West Coast for 3 weeks. Okay, what's the next one?
When transferring, will we be guaranteed a cabin before our 26.2 is canceled?
Yeah. The minute that you tell us that you're going to transfer with a small, tiny exception, okay, you will automatically have that cabin. Now everyone's saying, what is that small exception? Okay. We've got 26.1 and 26.2. Those are 2 sailings, meaning there is somebody who is in, and I'm now making this up, room 1, 2, 3, 4 on the first sailing, and there's also somebody sailing in a 1, 2, 3, 4 on the second sailing. The third sailing only has 1 cabin, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the event that both of those people ask for the same cabin, we will then contact the person who is second and offer them as close to that cabin as humanly possible, okay? And they will have the right to say, yeah, that's fine, or a no. In that case, we wouldn't cancel their 1 or their 2 until they have confirmed that they want a cabin on 3. Aren't you glad you asked that question? And please don't ask me to repeat the answer, because I'm not sure that I could.
Will we be able to sign up for the special curated activities prior to departure?
Oh my God, way in advance, because we have to monitor the sizes, and we have the flexibility to add and subtract. Yeah, the Journey of Jazz sales on September 12th, 2025, and signups begin next week. So it isn't a year in advance, but it's close enough. Okay, it's 11 months in advance, and we would do the same thing here. Okay, super. Okay. Thanks. Hey, that's nice. Any other questions?
Is the session
And
recorded?
yeah.
Yes, it is recorded. And we keep it in a hermetically sealed mayonnaise jar on our porch. Yeah, no, it'll be on the website. How long?
By tomorrow.
Okay, by
Monday.
tomorrow.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, feel free to ask questions, okay? And, the weekender, my email address is on the weekender. So you feel free to ask any questions that you want, because we know we are throwing something different at you, which is sort of what we try to do periodically. But I think this is going to be a whole lot of fun. Any possibility, Vincent? Yeah, Vincent is, when will actual prices be available? They're already available. They're on the site, and it makes it really simple. They are the exact same prices that we offer for a 26.1 and for a 26.2. In fact, for those who haven't compared all 6 or 7 or 8 of our cruises, all the prices are the same because they're all on the same ship. Okay.
Michael, this is a really good question from Michael McNeil. If I'm on 26.1 and move to 26.3, when rebooking takes place for 27, will I lose my space?
Probably. We are working that out right now. You may lose your ability to book that particular cabin, but what we're going to do is we're going to create another category of guests, people that move from a 26.1 and 2 to 26.3, and we will figure out ways to put them in similar cabins. Obviously, the issue regarding suites becomes problematic. But one of the things we've always done is, if you're in a cabin, you have the right for a certain period of time, relatively short. This year it was only 30 days to rebook that same cabin for the next year. Okay, but we know that, and we are working on it. Okay.
Juanita is asking if DW3 will be planned to join us on this cruise.
Yeah, they're in the sorry they aren't on this, but they're in the announcement. Absolutely, DW3 will be there. Okay, absolutely. Sorry that they weren't on here. Okay.
And I do see a few very specific stateroom questions and things regarding transfer. I'm happy to answer those questions following, and we'll send direct emails to those reaching out.
Individual basis, situations, guests that have been with us for a long time, who are in a royal suite or something. There are ways that we can figure this out. Okay. We're not going to displace anybody, but we have to be fair to everybody. That's the two things that you've got to know about us. We are totally transparent, and we really try to be fair. And sometimes, obviously, fair is in the eye of the beholder. We obviously cannot do everything that every guest asks, because that wouldn't be fair. That would be kind of chaos, actually. But I have found that if a guest has an issue like that and they present it, 99 out of 100 times we find a real solution to it that everybody's happy with. Okay? Any other questions? Okay. For those on the East Coast, time to go get a drink. For those on the West Coast, you got a few more hours. You have to actually do something. We're in the Midwest, and we never started working today anyway, so we're just going to hang. Okay? Okay. Everybody have a good weekend, and thank you very much for being part of our system and our programs. We've been doing this for 25 years, and it means the world to us. You guys mean the world to us. We fully recognize your commitment in terms of dollars and time and energy and effort, and I hope that we fulfill those dreams and wishes every single time we cruise. Okay? Thanks. Bye.